Hello and welcome to Bitfumes, and this is for socket.io real-time chat application. And what we are going to use, obviously socket.io, because it is free, totally free, instead of using pusher in various chat app I have demonstrated. But this is very easy to set up. Also it is free, so why not use socket.io? And I have created a demo app for you. So let's see what we are going to build at the end of this video. So I have opened three Firefox windows with localhost 3000. It just demonstrates three different users. So whenever user come to this chat application, he has to give a name. So let's give a name here. So Ankur, and three connections, zero online, no problem. But if I give Sarthak, okay, so three connections, one online, that means apart from the person which is here. And then let's give Bitfumes, and you have noticed that it says Bitfumes has joined. But if I close this tab for Bitfumes, yeah, Bitfumes is leaved. And this means when the user join, when user leave, we have the real-time demonstration. Not only that, if I type here, so I will say hey, and look on this side, it says Ankur is typing. Great. And what if I enter? Yeah, I enter, and here me, that means I have sent hey, and here Sarthak has received this message in real time, no refresh, just real time because of the socket. And here is the Bitfumes. So why not grab the Bitfumes? That was that was Ankur, not Bitfumes. So let's open Bitfumes here, and let's type here hi all. So Bitfumes says hi all to these two others, Ankur and Sarthak, and this is super cool. So if you want to use this app, you can go to Bitfumes and GitHub repository of Bitfumes, that means github.com/bitfumes/chat app with socket.io, and you will get this application what I have just showed you here on the demonstration. And now let's go and start creating this awesome thing. So let's just close these things because we have to create it right now. So first thing first, let's go and open a terminal for this socket.io folder, and here I will say npm init. What this will do, this will just initialize a npm package. But if you don't have npm, it's not a problem. You just have to go to node.js.org and you can download node on your machine, and if you successfully install npm or node, you will get this version or node version. Both are here. Great. So as I have told you, npm init install init. Okay, so package name socket.io, that's okay, no problem. Version, description, in the entry point, git repository, then keywords. Okay, everything is good, so this is nice. So I will close that, and everything is here inside the socket.io folder. So I will open this folder with my VS Code. So here you can see we have this package.json file, and it has all these things. But what we need here, so let's now go to socket.io website, and here we have this get started tab. So let's click on this one, and this socket.io is super awesome thing. It's like a magic. It uses your WebSocket system, and it just make things real time. You don't have to worry about having a configuration for the real time on your server. You can actually create a real-time system with normal PHP backend MySQL, but that will be slow as written here also. But socket.io is super fast. So we have done this part, that means package.json. We just need to install Express. Express is a simple node framework, and now here I will simply use npm install save to package.json file. So save, and what we are going to save or install? Express and version 4.1.15.2. So hit enter, it will install, and if I see after this install, we will have dependency here on the package.json, which is like this. Super easy. So now we have this package lock.json file and node module which contain various things which we don't have to care about. Okay, so let's now go back here, and now we have to create our entry point. That means the index.js file which we have here. So main index.js file, we have to create that because this is the file which will initialize this package or whatever you call it, project. Good. Okay, so let's create a new file called index.js, and here firstly I will get server. But where I get server? Server is like require express and it is done. So if you see here, yeah, it's not server, it's app. Okay, so app, not server. Okay, and then we need HTTP. That means actually now we need server. So here HTTP is equal to require HTTP and dot server, and inside this server I will pass my app. It's just a simple part using express.js, and now we need to create a route. So it will like app.get. Whenever we get to the base URL slash, then we need a function. I will use arrow function, and here we just have two things, request and response. So first one is request, second one is response. Okay, so here what we need to do, we need to give response dot sending let's say we are sending an h1 tag which having hello world or hello socket.io. So this is good, we have created this route, but where we are going to show this? That means where is our server? For that we have to create this server, or we have to listen for server. So now http dot listen, and listen on port 3000 like this, and this is not inside single quotes, and then again function, arrow function, and whenever this is done we just have to say console.log connection done, simple thing. But how we will start the server? Okay, so for starting a server we need to say node and whatever the file we have to initialize, and our file is index.js. It's super easy. You want to say hey node, go to index.js file and start the server. So index.js, and now hit enter. So it says connection done because we have console logged that thing. This means what we can actually say here, if I go to Chrome, I will say localhost colon 3000 and hey hello socket.io, which is because we have passed this file. But it will be very hard if you want to send whole page and write everything here. So why not send a file? So instead of sending this one, I want to send a file, and this file is index.html. so we need to create this index.html, simple thing. So let's create this file index.html, and here I will say exclamation and html, and let's remove this, and I don't have these things css and js, so remove that one also, and page title is socket.io chat app. Good. Okay, so I will going to have a h1 tag here, and I will say hello from file, simple one again. So let's restart our server because we have made changes in our index.js. So let's do one more, go to Chrome, refresh. Okay, it says path must be absolute. This means we have to say the absolute path, which is like, here we have to say directory name, and then we have to say index, but directory name and slash index.html. So once more, restart the server, go refresh, and hello from file. Pretty normal things, nothing comes like socket. So let's go and get the socket. So now we have to initialize the socket. How we will get the socket first? So here you can see, again use npm install socket. So open terminal, and let's open new terminal, and here socket.io. so let's install this, and it says some error, which is like, the problem here is our package.json name actually is socket.io. So instead of socket.io, I will only use socket, so that it will not clash with the dependency we are going to install. And now it will install socket.io. Yeah, so this is good, and we have installed that, and now we need to initialize the socket also. Again, we have to use this kind of notation. So let io, we will call socket as io. So require, and require what? Require socket, and pass our http, that means our server. So this is good, and now comes important part. We have this kind of, we are sending the file, we are having the server. Now we need the socket connection. So to have the socket connection, to listen for the connection, we need this one. So it's like io dot on and connection. When there is a connection, then we need a function which will simply say console dot log, and there is a connection, simple one. So let's now go and restart our node server, because we have made changes here, and again some problem which says find module socket. Okay, socket.io, once more, and yes, connection done. But there is no console of there is a connection. Why? This is because on our index.js we are not connecting to the socket. So how we can connect to socket from our user end or from our HTML part? For that, again, if I go here, we need to have this script and this script on our HTML part. So why not grab that and paste it here? And this is simple saying that, okay, get this socket io.js file and initialize the socket. This means whenever we initialize this page loads, it initializes, and then it says yes, there is a connection, and there is connection will console log here. So once more reopen the server. So this is good, and let's refresh it, and yes, you can see there is a connection. If I refresh once more, yeah, there is a connection, because every time it disconnect and connect. Simple. And here we have one more thing, io.on disconnect. Okay, so simple one again, and I think this is disconnection. Let me try this, console.log disconnected, and restart. Okay, so there's a connection, there is a connection 2 times, there is a connection one more time, but if I close this, okay, so disconnect maybe. So I think the problem is it's not io, it's simple socket. So we need to say socket on disconnect, and then it will connect. So one last time, and it says socket is not defined. Spell it correct, Sarthak. Okay, so refresh, and another problem, socket dot disconnect. Why is that? Because we need to accept this socket from this function. Wow, very nice. Okay, refresh. There's a connection. Disconnect and then connect. So you get the idea how these things are working. Let's go and see what next we need to do. Okay, so these things are, yeah, they are showing the disconnect part. These things are good, but what if we want to connect with our user, or whenever user do something we have to emit an event and listen on this socket? Super easy. So let's just install Vue.js. So let's get the CDN. So Vue.js CDN and Vue.js library. Now let's grab this minified version. So copy this with a script tag, and here on our HTML part I will just, after this socket, paste that and now initialize that. So I will say here let view is equal to new view. Now maybe if I call it app, that will be good. So now we have to bind it with some element. So element will be having ID of app. So why not delete this one, create a div having ID app, and now inside this I will do everything whatever we want. So just say on the created hook I will simply use console.log and create it. So let's try this one on Chrome. So open DevTool, refresh this page, and yes, it says created. That means our view is absolutely working fine. And if you don't have that Vue dev tool, that's not showing here so you need to install that. So why not close this, open once more. Okay, maybe I think we need to have that this one, that is minified version, and the minified version is for production and not for what we can say, not for testing purpose or development purpose. And now you can see Vue tab is here. So Vue dev tool is here and it's very easy. Just install this extension. Good, nice, very nice. Okay, so this is good. And last thing, we need to have what we can say, we need to have a bootstrap and CDN once more. So bootstrap CDN, let's grab this one also for just styling purpose. So let's grab that, and here I will paste it. Simple enough. So this will just say dot container, and this will give us a container. And here what I will do, I will just show you how this socket things works. So what if I will say here, whenever there is a create part, that whenever something creates, this page loads, then we have to say socket socket dot emit, and we are going to emit an event. And now name the event. Event is created, and then we need to pass something if we want. If we don't want, and that's not a problem. So let's pass Sarthak, not a problem. Lots of not a problem. Okay, so go to index.js, and here I will now say socket dot on, and just like we are listening for disconnect, just like we are listening for connection, we need to listen for our created event which we have created here. So maybe spell it correct. Okay, and then we are getting the data we know it's Sarthak, and now we need to again emit an event. So this time we will say socket socket dot broadcast, and let me do one thing. I will say io dot emit. Let's try this one, and emit again once more created hook, and again let's pass the data and let's see the result. So here we are emitting event on the server, we are listening for event, again we are emitting event from the server, and again we have to listen for that. So socket dot on created function get the data, and here let's console.log data. Let's see the result, but as we have made changes, let's restart the server. Great. So refresh and hook socket spell correct. Why I am doing this? Okay, so let's refresh, and you can see Sarthak is here because it's now it's always coming from the server. So what if I don't want to listen for my own emitted event, because this event is emitted by me, and if I try to open another tab, this is again emitted by me and I am also listening for that. So there is one more thing. If you don't want to emit event for yourself also, you can use socket.broadcast.emit. This will just broadcast to other, not you. So as restart the server, refresh, and you can see we don't have Sarthak here, but if I go here, yes, Sarthak is here. So refresh here, no Sarthak. Yes, one Sarthak is here. Yeah, one Sarthak is here also. Okay, so this is the way we can emit an event and listen for the event. The simple part is this: how you can emit, how you can listen on server, and on the server you again emit and listen on the client side. Simple thing. We are going to use this thing to create our chat app. And to save the time, because we have done lots of things, to save the time, I will go to my GitHub repository. So GitHub Bitfumes and chat with socket.io, and I will grab the HTML part. So on this HTML, here you can see we have lots of things, and why not create these things, because there are many Vue.js hooks, so maybe you will get confused. So let's open get bootstrap and document components. Firstly, grab the card, simple one with a header and footer. So not footer, only header, maybe this one. Okay, so yeah, this one. Okay, so let's grab this one and paste it here. Okay, so this will be like my Aladdin chat app, because Aladdin can do all this kind of magics. Okay, so these things, remove this, and no styling, bro, and I want it here a theme, so bg background of info, and that should be a class. Okay, good. So let's see how it's going to look. Too wide, so why not give a new div having call lg of let's say 6 and offset of lg of 3. So this is good, and move this card inside here. How about this? Nice Aladdin chat app, and Aladdin chat app has text white. Great. So this is good, and now we need an input box. So let's go to forms, and this is the simple form. So let's copy form here, and now because we are on card, so we can say dot card body, card hyphen body, and like this. Is that card hyphen body? We will see. Yeah, correct. So this is good, and now we don't need this id, we don't need this something, whatever it is, and I will say simple type here, and no small tag, and no label, and just a simple button, and maybe button has to be smaller, so btn sm, and this is good. And let's say add, not submit. Okay, refresh. Good, but this add has to be here, or I think we don't need any button. We will use direct form submit. So at submit dot prevent, and we will say send. This is the method we will create in our view. Okay, and let's initialize v model of new message. So new message will be here. So let's create a data, and data is new message which is initially null. Good, and let's see what we need. Okay, and we need another data messages, which will be an array, so that on this li we will say v for message in messages. Okay, and here we will show message. Simple thing. So these things are good, and this means if I type here hit send, oops, this has to be text. Okay, once more, hit send, it will send, or actually it will add that message here and add that message here also by using the socket. So let's create a send method. So methods, method name is send. Okay, and in this send, what we need to do, firstly we need to move new message from here to messages. So this dot messages dot push this dot message, this dot new message, and as we are pushing this, we need to use socket, and socket dot emit an event called chat message, and then we will need to pass this dot message. Okay, and this has to be new message, and as we emit that, let's empty out this new message part. So what we are doing, we are just moving new message to messages array, then we are emitting an event, then clearing out new message. Let's go to index.js, and now here let's use socket dot on, and the new event is chat message. Here get the data, and now again we need to emit, and obviously we need to emit to others, not to itself. So chat message and get the data here. So here we are emitting, listening here, again emitting, and we have to listen here. So socket dot on chat message and get the data once more, and let's push it to messages dot push, and that will be the data. So it's super easy. We are pushing here, but this one is for others. This one is for the user who is sending message. This one is for who is receiving the message. So let's go refresh here, and we need to refresh the connection. That means restart the connection. So once more, refresh, type here hey is here. Let's see here. Yeah, you can see it's becoming a real-time system. Wanna do one thing, when we receive something we need to have on the left side, and when we send something we need to have that on the right side. So maybe it will be like, what is the type? Is that type of sending or type of receiving? So whenever we are passing the message, why not pass is like an JSON object, and I will say type is, because here we are pushing it, so type is, let's say 0. 0 means sending, and let's use this here, and it's like data.message. So data.message, and this is receiving, so type is 1. It's just my convention of saying type 0 means send and type 1 is receiving. So it's now time to have some kind of system here which will just move these things. So I will use a span, and inside this span I want to have this message dot message. Okay, and let's give a class, but we have to bind the class, and I will say the class name is float on write. Okay, float on write when message dot type is equal to 0. Okay, so let's see how it's going to look. So refresh once more, here also. Yeah, this is on the right side because I am sending from here, and because here receiving we are not having that. Why is that? Maybe here if we are checking, okay, data dot message. Okay, so we are pushing to, okay, so problem is we are just passing the message here, so it will be not data dot message, it's simple data. Okay, so let's go refresh here, and I will say, hey, I was doing just fine before I met you. Okay, so this is good and looking nice, but we need some other features we have seen in the demo part, which is the typing. So typing means whenever there is something change in this text box. Yeah, that is nice. So why not create a watch property? In a Vue there is a great thing which is called watch property. That means it just watch your data, and which data we want to watch, it is new message, and it has some value. Okay, so whenever we have some value, then what we need to do, we need to again emit an event, socket dot emit an event which is called typing. Okay, and now if there is no value, let's stop the typing. So it's like stop typing to emit events. So two events, so we need two listeners for that. So let's get two event. One is typing, and that should be here also, typing. Another is stop typing. Great. So again we are listening for that event, and we are once more emitting event. So let's once more listen for that. So socket dot on, firstly on the typing we need to listen, and whenever there is a typing, so let's create a data which is like typing is initially false. Okay, so here we will say this dot typing is equal to true. Let's see what will be the result, but before that let's create a stop one also. So stop typing, and this will make it as a false. Okay, great. So here it is, and it says my mistake, what happened today. Okay, so let's move these two side by side so that you can see it clearly. So this is here and this is here. Okay, so these two are here. So refresh here, and what if I type here? So let's open Vue dev tool, and here let's just open it. Typing is false. If I type here and go here, it says nothing, typing is still false. What happened? Maybe here what will be the result? Problem is we have not restarted the server. So let's restart the server, refresh here, refresh here also, and click here, type, and yes, you can see it is true. This is good. So whenever we have typing true, we need to say here like small tag and make this not inside li, where we can show that we can show just here after Aladdin app or just above this li. So a small tag having we will say if typing is true. So if typing is true, then we will say user is typing. Okay, so this is good. Once more, refresh, 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 and hey, you can see it, user is typing. And if I remove this, user is not typing. If I send this, message is here, typing message is gone. So let's make it little cool. So giving a class of text white and float on right, text white, float right. Hello. Okay, user is typing. Great. So I think float right is not working, not a problem. Good. So user is typing is good. And next thing is we can move this user is typing on the right by just saying here text on right. So maybe this will get on text right, but this time we have to say text float left. So if I go here, hello, so here it's on left. Okay, it's not working. Let's refresh once more. Hello. Okay, so received one is on the right and send one on left. Send one on, okay, so do one thing, this will be one. So if received message, then move it to left, otherwise has to be on the right. So hello, yeah, right on left. And if I type, typing message is on the right. Good. So this is nice. And next feature is like we need to have some kind of system where user can give its name. So let's add here just above the card one simple h4, and firstly I will give a div, and here we need another form. So let's copy this form from here, paste this form here, and here we will say this is the form to have add name. Okay, and v model will be simple name, and give your name, this will be the placeholder. So whenever this is here, so let's give h4 of set your name. Okay, and now let's see how it's going to look. Okay, set your name, so we need a submit button. So let's give this call of let's say 9, and then input button, it's a submit button, and value will be add, and then class will be form, oops, not form, btn sm, and btn simple sm is good, and margin left of 1. Let's see how it's going to look. Okay, it's having some problem. Okay, so class btn info, this will work. Good. And let's give it as a row so that it will add up here. Great. But let's create a new data called name, which is initially simply null. So yes, it is null. So what I want to say that if data is null, or let's use one more data called ready, which is false initially. So what I'm going to say, if ready is false, so if ready is false, then show this, otherwise v if v else, simple. So let's see. So we are saying that if ready is false, then don't show this chat app part, just show this message that you need to send you need to add your name. And just after this, maybe I think we need another one for showing the name. So this will be v if ready is true, and here I will echo out show name. So we just need to add the name. So add name, we need to have this method here. So add name will be like this dot ready is equal to true, because we are using v model here. Where is that? We are using v model, so it will already fill the name property. So let's see what I'm going to say here. It says okay, so the problem is I have used v if here also. So maybe I can use v else if that works. Yeah, it is working. So in this root element, you can see we have, let's open, yeah, ready is false, name is null. But as I type Ankur, yeah, name is filled, but ready is still false. So as I add it, yeah, it is becoming true and Ankur is here. So maybe this one can be v if of ready is true. Okay, so once more try, ankur add, and yes, chat app is ready here. Simply here also, if I give Sarthak, yeah, nice. So this is good. So as the user type here, we need to emit an event that someone has joined. So here add name, whenever the person adds the name, we need to have socket dot emit, and this will be like joined. Joined who? Joined the this dot name, join name. So we have joined the name. So let's initialize or listen for socket dot on joined and give data and broadcast to others for the joined, passing the data, now again emitting. So again we have to listen for that. So let's listen for that. Socket dot on joined, then data, which is actually the name. So let's use this dot online persons, whoever is online. We need to say here this dot info dot push, and pushing an JSON, which is like name is whatever will be the data, and type, this is the type of joined. So how this will going to work? So firstly we have to initialize this info. So info is an array, okay, and let's call this array here just after this container, or maybe after this one we will use simple p tag here, and inside p tag we will use v for to loop through item in info, okay, and here we need to say item dot name, that means who have is joined or leaved. So then it's like name and then item dot type, but this will only going to show v if ready is true. When you are ready, when you have given the name, then you can see who is entered or who is leaved. So this means whenever someone leaves, so what is the function of having leave? So this will be like window dot on before unload, and whenever there is this kind of event, that means there is a unload, that means it's like closing of the window, then again use the socket and emit an event which is like leaved. Okay, so leaved who? Leaved this dot name. Similarly, let's listen for leave. So joined leaved data and leaved. So listen for leave also. So where is that? Yeah, join here. So leaved, and this time type is not joined, it's leaved. So let's now see how it's going to look. Refresh this, and I will say ANKUR. No information because this one is not has ready. So Sarthak, hit enter. We are still not getting here. What is the problem? As usual, then my problem. Restart the server. Okay, refresh, and give Ankur here and give Sarthak here, and Sarthak is joined, Ankur is joined, but this is stay here. We need a system to disable this or dismiss this. So it's, I think, easy. Why? Because when we are pushing these things, we are showing, then after some time set timeout. After let's say 5 seconds, we can say this dot info become empty. Similarly here empty. So let's try this and refresh ANKUR at Sarthak at 1 2 3 4 5 6, yeah, okay, 5 seconds, and it's gone. So if I close this tab, Sarthak leaved, and this is exactly what we want. So once more, get back the Sarthak, yeah, here. So let's say hey typing and send this, but we need some kind of system that it is sent by me and it is received from Ankur. Okay, so this means whenever we are sending the data, that the message we are sending, so we are sending here, instead of sending this message only, we need to say message by also. So let's again say message, and message is this, then user is this dot name. Similarly, we have all these things. When we are listening to, so we need to say data dot message and user or by is data dot user. So this is good. So message dot push, all these things. But here also we need to say by, that means when we are sending, we are pushing it locally. So by is simply me. Okay, so this is easy, not a problem. Give Ankur here. Okay, give Sarthak here. Okay, so let's say hey, it's hi. Okay, so it's not showing because we have not get that thing. So just after this, let's use a small tag, and this will give message dot by, and it has to be like colon, I don't know what we can use that here. So let's use Ankur here, Sarthak here, and I will say hey, user is typing. I think we need to say Ankur is typing. We will do that. So hey Ankur, but hey comes here, Ankur goes there. So maybe we can move this inside this span. So it's like this. Once more. Sarthak comes here. Okay, this time let's get Bitfumes. So like hey from Sarthak, hey from me, and whenever we are saying that user is typing, we need to send the typing name, the person who is typing. So let's say this dot name, and on this server we need to listen for, yeah, we are passing the data everywhere. So just listen here, name, and why not call typing is name. So it's just easy. Whenever stop typing is false, but whenever there is a typing event, then we are just having the typing data, the name of the person who is typing. So here we are showing typing, user is typing. Instead of, I will say typing is typing. Don't confuse with typing and typing. Typing, this one is actually the name of the user who is typing. So let's call this Ankur, Sarthak, and here, hey, Ankur is typing. Great. So here I can say hi, Sarthak is also typing. Okay, so hey is come here, hi come there. We have an awesome chat app with Socket.io, Node.js, Express, Vuejs, JS. Wow, very nice. And the last thing we have to do here is number of connections we have. So again, go to index.js, that means on the server side we have lots of things. So joining part, typing part, chat part. So let's move this here, created, disconnected, and I think we don't need this one, even we don't need this connection. Okay, so let's try one thing. Console.log of object dot keys of io dot sockets dot connected dot length. So it will just give you how many connections we have. So if I go refresh here also, console log, open this console log. So actually that will be this one, this console. So here done, connection is 1 and connection is 2. So if I now open one more tab, so you can see connection is 3. So number of connections is described here. So why not, instead of consoling log, io.emit an event name is connections, good. So this is the connections, and on the client side we just need to listen. So let's create a data for the connections. So connections is 0. So when we need to listen, so let's, where we going to listen? Oh, let's listen here. So socket dot on connections, and when we get the data, so data this dot connections is equal to data number of connections. So let's give here a span class of float right, where is right, float right, and here just echo out connections, and this is actually going to give the number of connections, and like 20 or 3 connections. So this will give number and then word connection. So refresh Ankur, 0 connections, connection, and here Sarthak, 0 connection. Okay, that is because my problem. Restart the server. Okay, so refresh this, so give Ankur here 3 connections, because 1, 2 and 3 so Sarthak 3 connections, and if I close this one, okay, so again still 2 connection. So maybe we need to have refresh. Okay, after some time it refreshes. So Sarthak 2 connections. If I open once more, call it Bitfumes, 3 connections. Okay, so 3 connections are here, and in that way we can achieve whatever the things we want to have, because we have the power of socket.io in our project, and we can make these things real time and having everything on our project like a new, like a super cool app. So if you have liked this episode, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you want to support Bitfumes, then just go to patreon.com/bitfumes, and even $1 a month will be a huge help, and you will get some reward like some free coupons for Udemy courses. And if you can't able to do all these things, there's no worry, you are my friend, bro. Just go and subscribe to this channel and like Bitfumes on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. So we will meet in the next episode. Till then, goodbye.